In the first home game in over 3 weeks for Syracuse, scoreless between the 4th-ranked Orange and the 20th-ranked Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Nico Horning, Hunter Caparelli, happy to be with you here for the ACC Network Halftime Report. And for two of the highest-scoring offensive teams in the ACC, no offense so far. It's been a game of both goaltenders thus far, Hunter.
That's right, Nico. Highly competitive first half. A lot of defense, high pressure. Neither team has been able to break through, but I'm excited to see what these coaches do to adjust going into the second half.
Not many shots either way as we take a look at what happened in that opening half at J.S. Coyne Stadium between Syracuse and Wake Forest. The Orange moved up a spot since last week, going from number 5 to number 4, and it was Bo Von Kempen who had a hat trick last week trying to break through for Syracuse early on, but she couldn't do so. And then a great transition opportunity for Wake Forest went wide. That shot by Fayance, and then the Orange tried to respond a little bit later. That'll be a yellow card there. Taylor Bigby forced the hit on Mia Schoenbeck, and then Wake Forest had a few opportunities here, a couple penalty corners, and a stop that goes aside by the Orange. And then the second one, Montag, a great reach to her right by the goaltender for Syracuse, Island. And then Wake Forest again, last second. Another opportunity, Island comes up clutch, and that's how the first half went down between Syracuse and Wake Forest. Again, not exactly the numbers from the offensive standpoint, but it was all defense so far in the first 30 minutes.
Nico, Syracuse averages 5 goals a game, 0 at the half. They need to get Bo Von Kempen going. She's one of the best scorers and arguably the best penalty quarter hitter in the country. If they could draw a couple more penalty quarters, get her some more chances to get some shots on goal, I think they could end up getting some goals in the second half.
Wake Forest out shooting Syracuse 5-2, and one of those goalkeepers, Ellie Todd for Wake Forest. And we know, Hunter, that this is a team, they have a 3-goalkeeper rotation. They elect to start Todd here today, and she has been really good so far in between the pipes for Syracuse, or for Wake Forest.
Todd has been really strong in net, having to save 2 goal shots from Bo Von Kempen. One of the best, as I said, one of the best shooters and hitters in the nation. She's been really strong. Just a dive right there on the second penalty corner. Look at that, the extension, getting on the ground, getting her leg out, trying to get the ball out. She's been super strong. I think if Coach Averill keeps her in the second half, it's going to be tough going for Syracuse to try to get a goal in the back of the cage.
Extremely athletic saves by both Todd and Island. Todd in her 6th start for Wake Forest, and Island in her 7th start for Syracuse. So again, no score between Syracuse and Wake Forest. It's been a game of goalkeepers thus far, and we pencil in a little bit on Syracuse because this is a team that had a slow start on Sunday in a win against Lafayette. Very slow to start with. Von Kempen was also slow, but she picked up in the second half, facing the same situation here.
I'm curious to see what adjustments Coach Farquhar makes for the second half. Like you said, they were down 2-1 last Sunday against Lafayette, came back and won 5-2. I'm hoping to see a couple more adjustments in this half, maybe with some more high pressure, swarming the Wake Forest defenders to try to cause a mistake and hopefully get a shot on goal and put one in the back.
Syracuse looking to remain undefeated after a 6-0 start to the season, looking for a 7-0 start, which is the best since 2017. More coming up. Fall weather starting to creep in here in central New York. Syracuse and Wake Forest scoreless here on a Friday night. And the Orange back home to begin a 5-game homestand. Virginia on Sunday. We're not quite there yet. Nico Horning, Hunter Caparelli, and happy to have you back here on our ACC Network Halftime Report. It was Syracuse not exactly having the best start to this half, Hunter, but there are plenty of other games going on here in the NCAA field hockey. As we get a look at a couple of the scores, most of the games underway already. Boston College and Virginia at halftime. Virginia is up 1-0 on BC. And as we mentioned, those Cavaliers coming to town on Sunday.
Very curious game. UVA midfielders Mia Bellows, Suze Lehmans, both preseason All-AC. Boston College was a preseason number 8, but they're on a 3-game losing streak, one of those losses to number 1 Northwestern. I'm excited to see how that one plays out.
Speaking of Northwestern, a 4-0 shutout over Delaware, and then North Carolina and Cal yet to have the first touch there in Chapel Hill, but that'll be the 10th meeting between these two teams. UNC is undefeated against Cal, and again, Aaron Matson really good with her program this far, coming off an ACC title last year.
Syracuse, one of the most higher octane offenses in the country. North Carolina might have something to say about that with four player of the year, Riley Heck, coming back. They have Charlie Bruder, who scored the majority of their goals last season for them. They're really strong. They're going to be here later this October. Excited to see how that game plays out.
Plenty of good games coming up at JS Coyne Stadium here in Syracuse. All right, second half coming up momentarily. What would be your keys going into the second half? Because there was no offense in the first half.
Nico, for Syracuse, I think they need to get out in transition. They got to get more players up the field. And get Bo Van Kampen shots on goal. Other than that, I think if they do some more swarming, the defenders causing more mistakes, I think they could get some shots on goal. As far as Wake Forest, trying to get up the field more, similar to Syracuse. If they can get Syracuse to get some mistakes, stay on a straight line, they can end up getting some shots on goal as well, and hopefully put one in the back of the cage.
Who would you want to see step up from Syracuse to try and take this lead in the second half?
I'm looking at Bo Van Kampen. I'm looking at Patty Strunk, the top assister in the country. If she could get the ball playmaking going, I think she could hopefully get it to Bo Van Kampen and then get one in the back of the cage.
Well, the Orange looking for a remaining undefeated start here in the early season of 2025. 6-0 so far, can make it 7-0, but a lot of work to do from the offensive standpoint. Both coaches, very evident that they prefer to rotate their goalkeepers around. We'll see what happens in the second half. All right, we'll wrap things up after the second half, but for now we send it back to JS Coyne Stadium with Dan Shalom, who is with Wake Forest head coach Jen Averill.